Hey everyone, I'm Domingo Gomez, and in this video we're gonna see the best old flagships you can still buy in 2025. I want to start with one that it's not that old, but it could still be a great purchase. The Pixel 8 Pro came out 2 years ago, and right now you can find it for just over $400. It may not be the most powerful phone today with painfully slow charging speeds, but thanks to its great optimization, it still feels like a flagship. And let's not forget, its cameras are still amazing. If you're buying a Pixel phone, it's because of its software and cameras. And if you're buying previous Pro versions of the Pixels, well, it's because of the bigger LTPO display and also the telephoto lens. The only thing to consider is that this phone has had some connectivity issues in the past, so if you're gonna do a lot of calls, for example, well, I would reconsider. You should also take a look at the Pixel 7 Pro as a cheaper option, especially after Google extended its policy updates, and in many ways, it ends up being even better than the new Pixel 9a, also with its price. Now let's quickly jump on the iPhones, which are probably the best phones you can buy in secondhand or refurbished because of its value retention and also many years of updates. However, it all depends if you're going for the standard or Pro version. If you're looking for the standard version, I would go for the iPhone 15, mainly because, it comes with USB-C. Compared to the iPhone 14, you will get a slightly brighter screen that already has the dynamic island, plus a better 48 megapixel main sensor that keeps it feeling fresh. Its price hasn't dropped much, but once the iPhone 17 launches, this one will start dipping below, $500 refurbished. This also means that the iPhone 14 will be even cheaper, but instead of that one, I would get a Pro. And that's the iPhone 13 Pro. It's still, a solid buy today. And it costs just a bit more than the regular iPhone 14. But at least you will get 120Hz display that makes all the difference, especially since its performance is identical. Not to mention that this one has a telephoto lens for your shots and the ability to record in ProRes 10-bit HDR. This is possibly the best old iPhone you can get right now, and I would only go for the 14 Pro if its price it's very similar, because if not, I would do the jump for the iPhone 15 Pro, especially after September 2025. The iPhone 15 Pro not only gives you the upgrades from the 14 Pro like the dynamic island, the always-on display, ProRes log recording, and the new 48 megapixel main sensor with pixel binding, but also the ability to record directly to an SSD through its USB port. As far as older flagship goes, I think the iPhone 13 Pro Max takes a crown. But if you can get the iPhone 15 Pro for a good price, well, it's a great purchase in 2025. But let's say that you're not into iPhones. You prefer an open ecosystem like Android and more specifically a Samsung phone. In this case, there's one that it's very recommended and popular right now, and I'm talking about the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Back in the day, this was a phone that I really loved because it topped the charts in so many ways. Excellent QHD OLED display with solid brightness, Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, whether you are in the US, Europe, Latin America, or Asia. Its 200 megapixel main camera has aged really well also, and the other cameras give it a ton of versatility. This is the oldest Galaxy Ultra that I would recommend, and when you compare it with the newer Galaxy S24 FE, which costs about the same, I think it still wins. That said, another cheaper option will be the Galaxy S24, which will give you a better processor and many more years of updates, but if you're not that picky, you also have the Galaxy S23 Plus, which is even cheaper, will give you a bigger battery and also a bigger screen. And finally, I really wanted to include the OnePlus 12. It's one of my favorite phones I've tested from the brand because it's so well-rounded, with an excellent LTPO OLED display, a big battery with 80 watts fast charging and 50 watts wireless charging, plus the ability to shoot in 4K with the front-facing camera. It's actually a real flagship killer, but unlike Samsung phones, well, this one hasn't dropped that much in price. That's why instead of that one, I will recommend its previous generation, the OnePlus 11 that you can still find around the same price as the Galaxy S24. And it gives you a display as big as the S24 Plus. Better fast charging though, no wireless charging, and still a solid performance even with a previous gen processor. All of these recommendations obviously depend on where you live, what's on the market, what you can get on secondhand, but Just keep in mind that not everything are the specs. That's the main reason why I will still recommend the iPhone 13 Pro Max. It's a phone that, will last 3-4 more years. And if you want to replace the battery because you buy it secondhand, or you find one with the screen a little bit cracked, you can actually buy it, replace this, and you get a great phone for 2025. So just keep that in mind. And also, if you have another recommendation, you can always leave it in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.